Hello, everyone, and welcome to a bonus episode of Women in Security. Today, I am joined by Zhanna Hula from Poland. And what's special about this episode is in previous episodes, we were talking about Career 180, women who made the switch to security and had from a different career choice. Today, we're talking to Zhanna because she is someone who set out intentionally with their first career choice of being in security. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for invitation. It's a very big honor for me. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Well, I am super excited about your story. I do think it's going to reach a different audience. So let's just dive right in. Can you give us a quick, just, no, it doesn't even have to be quick, sorry. Can you give us the background of how you started with a career, knowing, wanting that career in security?
So yeah, basically my first career choice was the security itself, but more about electronical engineering, while revealed to little networking. I was really amazed by different films about spices when I was a child, and at school I really liked different technical stuff as mathematics and physics. So the direction should have been set at the technical and other way, and that is why I decided to do my best and start my bachelor degree in the field of the technical information protection because it was interesting and I wanted to learn something about these mini recording devices or mini cameras like for spices. And however, after studying for around 2 years in security, I was becoming not really sure of the possibility of finding the security related job, especially as women in Ukraine. And I decided to apply for my second bachelor in the field of economics just to stay protected and not to stay without work in the end. But nonetheless, my passion about security was with me for a lot of the time, and my next step there was to obtain the master degree. I was not really sure of whom I will be in the end, but I was trying to listen to my heart and find the most interesting road to take. That is how it goes now.
So I'm particularly interested in something you just said. You said you were worried about pursuing a career in security as a woman in the Ukraine. Can you talk about, was there some sort of certain climate or was it a lack of job roles? What was your worry there?
So basically, I can say that I was trying to apply for the security related job while I was studying my last 2 years of the bachelor in the field of information security, and there were lots of different justifications why not. So you're a woman now, even in interview, you're not the smart for this particular role, or you're a woman, you're not the reliable asset. So we are not interested in you, or after an interview, it could be yeah, you're a good specialist, but you won't fit into this man's team. And, I was feeling, I would say, not a little bit a pressure, but some barriers on my way. And at the time, I was really grateful for myself that I have just jumped in and just applied for the second bachelor in the field of economics. And, in the I would say in the middle of the January 2019, I had the great possibility to visit IBM Client Innovation Center in Poland,
Okay.
and I saw to myself that there is an opposite side of the security, and women have, this possibility of the freedom of the decision making in which road to take, and the possibility to improve their skills. And from that point, I saw the equality and I realized to myself that it worth to work hard to achieve it for myself as well. And from my first day working there in IBM and then the cybersecurity specialist, I'm feeling equal and supported. And I can say that I'm free of this on this way and no matter what sex I am. So basically this is the amazing feeling for me for now.
So it sounds like maybe early on in your journey, you felt that there was a barrier. Now that you're in the industry, you're feeling more supported. So as I listened to your journey there, it sounded like there's a lot of fortitude of your own and a lot of bravery for yourself, of you just battling past those barriers. Was there anybody that was particularly influential or helped you along in your security career journey or encouraged you?
Okay, so basically, my schoolmates and me, we had this possibility to visit IBM because of the cooperation between the company and the university. Because one of our graduated students, he was working at IBM at the time, and he invited us. So seeing how he works made me realize that if he could, so I also can. I need to work so hard on the self-development, but one day I will be good enough to join this amazing team. So he inspired me, I would say. And after around half a year, I would say, I saw the offer about opening position for the internship in IBM Security Poland, and decided to try myself, just to within the interview, to determine what else I need to learn and go deeper. However, the first attempt, it's not about success sometimes, and I was rejected without any explanations. And for
In,
sure,
in your first interview, you did not get the position. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, like, I even had not an interview. I had applied and I was rejected.
Oh,
Yeah. And for sure, it made me upset, because I am the kind of person that really believes in destiny. And I started thinking to myself, maybe it's not mine. And I left for the 2 weeks of the life power recovery, I would say, to Paris. However,
okay.
after, yeah,
I love
however,
it. I like your recovery plans.
back home, I decided to try to fight once more, and just contacted the guy from my university to ask what I'm doing wrong. Because when you're not working in the field, you're not really sure of what is relevant.
Hmm.
So I just pinged him and sent my CV. He checked it and decided to schedule a meeting. But that kind of meeting was kind of, I would say, the initial interview, and I was not ready for that kind of meeting. So
Oh,
yeah, he asked me general questions to see the way I'm thinking, and just security related questions. And afterwards, he said, okay, so why internship? You don't need it. Try to apply for the job and just change the language you're thinking into English, and that's all. And I can say that that point, from the day my life had changed entirely, because I was on my way to join IBM. So it was like that.
so it sounds like you got some really kind of targeted expert advice to get you to that first role. Um, you've talked a little bit about your majors and things like that, but I just want you to specifically outline what education paths and in different ways of learning and skilling up in security that you took to land your first role.
So basically, my path is information security, but more about electronical engineering. And that is why I was surfing, on the internet pages to determine the current trends in security and learn myself more about networking and the operating systems. And sure, knowing basics as what is the CAA or what is the difference between the policy and procedure, it sure helped me a lot. But from my own experience, or also maybe my point of view, because I like to fight, self-education is the best variant. Because when I started to work, I had no experience at all, but I had
Mhm.
this willingness and passion about security. I was in the process of obtaining my master, and I was also studying for my second bachelor, so it was a pretty hard time. But my first career step, I would say, was to try myself within the basic certificate in the field.
Okay.
As I remember, it was CompTIA Security Plus, so it just revealed the full picture on what we have in the field. And from that point, you can, by preparing for the certification, you can just determine what you need to learn deeper and also what you would like to do. And based on that, you just can customize your learning path. So this is my advice. I'm a more technical person, but I also would like my soft skills to be developed at the end.
So it sounds like you felt like the independent certifications have served you better in your career.
Basically, yes, because based on that, I just can't figure out what is my next step. I don't have for now the clear vision of what I would like to have at the end, but
Hmm.
I I really enjoy the process and this path, and for sure, I'm only in the beginning of this beautiful history, and that is why I'm just trying to suggest people do not to push themselves and to be afraid of the challenges and changes, and try to enjoy the process of
Yeah.
it. That is why my suggestion is those certificates, because it's just for me. I guess it's interesting and you just can learn something new. You're just staying on the trends of what is currently really important in the field, and that is why you're feeling up to date. I would say like this. So
Great. So tell me a little bit more about, I know that you've been in your role around a year and a half. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about your current role and then, what your thoughts are about, continuing to grow your skills both in this role and I'm looking forward to your next role too.
So basically now I'm L1 threat monitoring escalation engineer, and I'm the senior analyst, I would say, for
Okay.
the threat monitoring, and we are providing services 24/7 all over the year, monitoring the consoles, investigating the alerts, trying to filter out false positives, and working within the clients. From that point, it was really beneficial for me to get this experience because I had this, the scientific part of the knowledge, but the practice is really important. And that is why soon, I guess in 2 weeks, I'm moving to the second level of the investigation.
Congratulations.
So I will be the L2 XFTM investigate analyst. And from that point, I will be able to provide more insight for the customer, to work closer with the customer, just joining ad hoc meetings, for example, providing more, just finding more opportunities to tune the traffic and everything related. So basically from that point, I'm really excited for now of those changes. And for sure, I'm just trying to find who I will be in the end. But for me, this role, it opens me an opportunity to work within the various projects inside of the IBM and to meet the new people despite of the COVID time. So for me, it's really important and excited. I'm also very interested, to communicate with a new team because there are lots of experienced guys and I can always ask for advice. And I feel like I'm having my several mentors here in IBM who are showing me the life in the company in the wider scope, and I'm very grateful for that.
So it sounds like you have felt very supported as not even as a woman, but just as an employee, right, in
Yeah.
IBM security. Can you talk a little bit more about, um, that sort of support structure that you have to help guide your career and level
So
up, I guess.
level up, yes. Basically, yes. Now and my L1 team, I'm also feeling supported because I also have a small family of the escalation engineers in the team. Yeah, but I'm leaving soon. But yeah, sure, I will meet them, and we're staying in touch for sure. And they're also very, everybody has their own different knowledge in the different subfields, and they're sharing that. So for me, it's beneficial. But nonetheless, for now, I'm feeling that I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to stay at the same conditions for the very long time period because it's not about challenges, so no big improvement at the end. And that is why I'm leaving in some way to the new team where I will have, I would say, around 10 people within the experience, over 5 years. So
Yeah.
somebody who really could provide deeper insights on what is going on. So from that point, I'm feeling that I will even have a mentor in this position at the beginning because I'm only 23 for now and everybody is more mature. But from that point, I think that this possibility of the mentorship, it it's not only beneficial for me but also for the person who are doing this because based on that they are also growing.
Right.
So I can say that now I'm currently working around 4 projects, big projects for the IBM security, the internal one, and based on that, I have the possibility to communicate with the different geolocations,
So
Canada,
exciting.
Japan, and I also have the possibility to be a mentor because we have a very great internal project, quality of experience. It's one of my favorite projects, and we're in charge of the simulation, the ethics, and just learning how to protect about the current trends. So from that point, I'm also able to share my knowledge with somebody else. So I'm also excited about that.
And I'm so glad you said that. It's almost like you teed me up for the the next question that I wanted to ask because, I talked about how you've been supported, how you were supported, but clearly you are an amazing example of someone who's come in, been in the role in a year and a half, and I actually think you're not leaving, you're just growing, right? You're growing in your
Yeah.
career. And so if you had to give some advice to some, to an audience member who's watching this, to somebody who's starting in their security career in a way that you could support them, what would your advice be? If you mentioned being a mentor, right? What would your advice be to someone else?
Like the general advice is not to be afraid of the challenges and changes and try to follow your heart. And that is how you will find your proper place and the people you will find your, I would say, in the proper time, you will find your, the thing that will make you happy, your fashionable thing. And from that point, my suggestion is to be open to people, to be open-minded, and try to ask. If you're interested in something, don't be afraid to ask. And just try to learn, maybe not as deeper, but as much as you can from all the people on your own path. And based on that, you will just be ready for your next step in this journey. That's it. And I really encourage different women supporting programs like that. So
Mhm.
the WISE internal project within the IBM, or different, for example, groups or forums where we can share our knowledge. So don't be afraid to speak out. Everybody is happy to help you
I
and to
love
share.
hearing that. I call it, well, it's whatever, right? It's creating a tribe, a squad, a village, a flock, whatever you want to call it. And it sounds like, but there's also an element of bravery that you have in there too, right? You can't be fearful of a response. And what I love about what you just said is that it is a really welcoming community. People are ready to share their knowledge. And I'm really excited that you said that, because that's the message that I try to get across. I think a lot of people that I talk to can feel daunted. They can feel daunting, right? And trying to approach and break in to that. But I do think it's a welcoming community where people are ready to share knowledge. So I mean, thank you for sharing your journey today. It's been super fascinating and for me, very inspirational. Especially as I think about this new crop of women that are coming to take security roles, right, or jump into security roles. So I just want to ask, before we break today, do you have anything you would like to share? Anything that we missed? Any words of parting advice for those pursuing a career in security?
No, like I guess we're good. And basically, from this point, I just would like to say how really I'm happy to have this small talk to you today,
Me
and just
too.
to emphasize how great what you are doing, because I guess that really sharing successful stories here with you will encourage many women, starting from young and experienced girl to some mature women, to change their life. Because what you live is your destiny and your dreams, and just make them come true. That's it.
Oh, that's perfect. I got goosebumps. And I couldn't agree more. And I'm so glad that you are part of that voice. You are part of this amplification and encouragement of women in this field. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you telling your very inspiring story.
Thank you.